Good morning from the Mount Whitney trailhead. Today going to be hiking Mount Whitney in a day, starting with the Mountaineer's route, ending on the standard trail. For a full trail guide of this hike, you can check the link in the description below. As much as I love blinding myself with my headlamp, I'm going to wait a bit until the sun rises and talk more about this hike. Okay, first trail junction of the day. I started on the Mount Whitney Trail, and basically there's going to be a sharp right turn, and you're going to go up here to get on the Lone Pine Creek Trail, and this will be the start of the Mountaineer's route. Look at the size of this pine cone. Freaking massive. Listen, I'm doing what I can to keep myself entertained. There's no other views besides the pine cones. I really wanted to wait to talk more about this route until the sun was up, but moving kind of quick, so I'm actually slowing down so that I don't get up there too quickly. But I'm basically about 1.5 miles in. The Mountaineer's route is the most direct way up Mount Whitney, so it's basically going to be like 4.5-ish miles straight shot up the mountain. You gain a ton of elevation, like 6,500 feet, something like that, so very steep. The trail has been somewhat easy to follow, but I guess I do have a lot of experience, so having a GPX or some kind of navigation to help you is probably good. Right now I'm just kind of working up this first cliff band. Essentially my plan on the way down is to take the standard route, so this should be about a 7-ish thousand, 14.5, 15 mile day. I always kind of round up when information online is not always the best. Some class 3 climbing right off the bat, and again just working kind of this ledge here. Next up, you're going to work around Lower Boy Scout Lake and then right up the Scully here. Rising, looking down to Lower Boy Scout Lake. These beautiful granite cliffs that surround the approach here. So I wasn't sure if there'd be a trail, but this is very obvious, at least for now. My hair is a mess. As you're working up here, my advice would be to stay to the right. Big boulder field in front of you, and you can kind of hear a stream running in here, and this is where the trail is. Holy shit! Oh, it's like a glamorous B-roll shot. Turns out, lichen is slippery. Once you get to this point, essentially there's going to be a little stream right here, and follow it kind of just straight up. So as you get closer to the lake, I think I got off trail somehow, but you want to go this way. Seems like this trail leads up to another objective, not where we're going. If you do choose to camp, this is an example of what a spot would look like. Looking back up to the approach, so essentially here, and then cross over. If you end up getting to the lake, you've gone too far. Quick update, so about 3.3 miles in, 3,300 feet of gain. If you have no idea what that means, put your treadmill on like 10% and go for 3 miles. I will say there's a ton of route finding. Even with the GPX file, I got a tiny bit off course, but very happy to have a pretty solid base of route finding skills, but also a GPX track to follow. You can download mine over on my website. Almost to the upper basin. Working through another boulder field, and you can see the trail. I think the actual trail is a little bit left of me, so like here, but I'm just gonna shoot across here and go from there. You're eventually gonna go up that slope. You might be able to see if you have a bigger TV. There's a couple people right below or above my finger. But in the meantime, you don't want to go too high to the right. You kind of want to make it right in this middle there. 4.2 I'm 5 miles in, and just about 4,000 feet of climbing. Look at the climb out of here. If you're doing anything harder than this, you're likely off trail. Some more camping areas here, here. And from what I can tell on the GPX track, what you want to do is kind of cut over a bit before you start climbing. Otherwise, I hate to point these guys out, but they're kind of cliffed out, so they're traversing around to a section that they don't really need to. Here is a look at the gully you're shooting for. So very obvious up the middle, then it kind of bends to the right. Whitney is right in front of you, but you have a long way to go still. Over 1,500 feet of climbing. Helmet on and ready to start the climb. Highly recommend having a helmet if you're coming here during months where there's snow, which varies every year, but I would expect it until maybe June, July. Definitely have crampons and mountain axe and know how to use them. But once you're here later in the summer, it looks like it's pretty dry and should be good with trail runners, helmet, and anything else you need to scramble. Let's talk about two things that are going to have a pretty big effect on your hike up Mount Whitney, regardless of which route you choose. Number one being weather, number two being the altitude. With the weather, regardless of what route you take up Mount Whitney, you're going to want to have a clear day. There's going to be a ton of exposed hiking, and having a storm roll in while you're up in any of this exposed element is not good. Very dangerous. Number two being altitude. So we're just about 13,000 feet right now. For people who aren't used to that, even 10 will start to feel pretty thick. But especially as you get up 13, 14 and above, you're gonna have a hard time breathing, so stay hydrated. AMS is definitely something that can happen. Just take slow, small steps, all good things when you're at high altitude. When I was in Tanzania hiking Mount Kilimanjaro, the porters used to say pole pole, which in Swahili just means slowly, slowly. And that's definitely what you're gonna wanna do here. Slow, small steps will help the breathing catch up and also help you stop the sliding on this nasty stuff. Looking out at the first section, beautiful Glacier Lake, and up at the next one. Yeah, it's as I send stuff, very loose in here. Speaking of that, if you send any rock, be sure to call it out for any parties around you. Didn't call that one because there's no one behind me. Look at the next section here. I'm gonna keep to my strategy, which has been hugging kind of the left side, the more solid rock. So I'm looking at right now, I'm just gonna kind of take this slope here and rejoin. I'm sure there might be a way to climb there, but I know I can climb this. Very loose up here, so I'm trying to be super careful because there's a bunch of people behind me. They don't have helmets on, so I don't want to send anything. But yeah, I can't imagine going down this way. It would suck absolute ass. One last look back, and as you can get up higher here, you see I'm on some like more dirt slope, so that's nice. But summit is up there, but first got to get into the notch and then go left up some class 3. Whoa. The choice is to go all the way across. It's an exposed class 2 slope and then up, or you can take not over here. This is going to be higher class 4, class 5, but you can go up in there to the summit. Just to give you some perspective, with snow, this could be definitely tricky, but dry, it's no problem. I think this is where I'm gonna go up, right there. I'll try to give you as many perspectives of this as possible while safely climbing it, but this is definitely class 3, and the summit just right up there. Just looseness. There we go. And down at the first section, you can kind of see there's just, even right here, a lot of smaller loose stuff scattered amongst the rock. This is by far the sketchiest move I've had all day. That's solid. Okay, give me a handhold. There we go. Shit. Rock! Down, this is a loose mess, but I think I'm almost out. Check out these views. Insane. Yeah, sick. That's the final look down to the gully. Summit of Mount Whitney, just right over there. Top of Whitney Unbelievable. Awesome. Top of Mount Whitney here. Absolutely awesome. Views are insane. That's what I'll be showing in the B-roll right now. Couldn't ask for better weather, couldn't ask for better start to the day. It's about 10:30, so yeah, I have plenty of time to get back down to the car and have like a 3-hour drive. But to the summit, 5.4 miles, 6,100 feet of elevation gain, and just about 5 hours from car to here. So yeah, on the way down, going to be taking the standard route, the Mount Whitney Trail, so it should be about 10 and a half miles, and hopefully a lot quicker to travel. Mount Whitney is the highest peak in the lower 48. It's like 14.5 right behind Mount Elbert in Colorado, which is like 14.2, I think. Yeah, the views up here are just absolutely breathtaking, and it's really funny, similar to like a Long's Peak, how big the summit is for how gnarly this mountain looks from down at the trailhead. Huge, massive summit block here, and yeah, it really makes me want to come back to California and explore some more of the 14ers out here and the mountains in general. Alpine lakes in every direction, just stunningly beautiful. Like a lot of things in the mountains, I was looking at the mountaineering route, especially the last 400 yards, and was making it into something bigger than maybe it was. And I definitely got a little off route, but I'm just so relieved to be up here. I know I have a 11 mile hike back to the car. I'm gonna show that. I usually don't show the way down, but because I'm taking a different trail, I'm gonna do that today. So I'll try to be brief and keep the B-roll shots tight, but I want to at least take you guys on the full loop of Mount Whitney. Really proud of myself for this one, not necessarily because it's anywhere near the most technical or demanding mountain that I've done, but just committing to coming out here with some free time and doing a mountain that I really thought there was no chance I'd be doing in 2022. Just did Boundary Peak, the high point in Nevada, a couple days ago, and now to add on this one, which is also obviously the highest in the lower 48. Just awesome couple days. Just thinking of Juno right now. Have her in my bag as we speak, and just wish she was here to share these views with me. So this trail here that we're going down is called just Mount Whitney Trail, standard trail. I've read somewhere that Muir called it soft and succulent trail, which makes me really like chuckle, but I have no idea if that's true or not. This should be much less technical, and that's why it's so long, because you're basically just a class 1 walk up to the top. After my 100, believe it or not, when you just jump into fall objectives and you don't let your body recover, it's not the best. So I've been dealing with some like lingering foot issues and a little bit of calf stuff, and the fact that I was able to get up here, knock this off, and I think it's pain-free, I don't really know, but it doesn't hurt, is just awesome. Huge relief, and believe it or not, have even more really exciting bucket list stuff to share with you guys that I'll be attempting very soon. If I was in the mood to run, you could definitely run this as well. Really smooth, single track, and from what I understand, there's just like a ton of switchbacks on this, so that's why the distance is so crazy. Here's those dramatic drops that you saw from the trailhead. Looking back to the summit, which is right there. So next up, trail just works itself across. Been really going easy on commentary because it's been extremely straightforward. I will say first impressions on the Sierras is that it's gorgeous up here. It's kind of a rugged gorgeousness in the sense that there's just not a lot of green going on besides the scattering of evergreen trees way down in the valley, but definitely like Long's Peak, Maroon Bells kind of vibes up here. Pretty obvious trail junction here. Gonna go left. Over to the summit. You can't see the true summit, but back to where we're going down. Especially after coming up the other side, I cannot stress how well maintained this trail is. So kudos on Forest Service or whoever locally keeps this thing in good shape, because it's prime. I'm working down just a massive series of switchbacks. You can see like 1, 2, 3, 4. I imagine on the way up this would be no fun. In order to hike Mount Whitney as either a day hike, an overnight hike, Mountaineer's route, standard route, doesn't matter, you need a reservation. There's a lottery system that goes on, I don't know, sometime in like the beginning of the year, but I got mine just by refreshing the available dates I was looking for and got pretty lucky. No one's like checking you at the gate when you get here. I didn't see any ranger along the way. Now, I don't recommend not buying one. I'm just presenting facts, and I'm sure at the end of the day I could meet a ranger and be like, where's your reservation? So definitely have one, but just wanted to kind of touch on that for those who worry about that logistics end of things. These seem pretty absurd, but there you have it. I've been looking for this part. These are very old, obviously, but I think they theoretically guarding you from like this class 3, 4 slab. Came up from there and then through the other side all the way over to the summit, which is out of view. About the Mountaineer's route number 1, I've heard like people saying it's like 5-7. That is absolutely insane. You can easily keep it to class 2, maybe 3 in the chute, because there's certain sections that are just so loose as class 2 you just want to go to the class 3. And then at the end, if you didn't want to do that climb out that I did, you can just go across and it's class 2 as well. My other note about the Mountaineer's route on Mount Whitney would be that I think you would just want to objectively do it when there's snow on it. It would be so much more fun. And then you could either ski, snowboard, down climb the snow, and it would be so much better. Even if you came down this way, objectively a better day. I just think that really is like a winter line, and I honestly feel as though the longer it stays in that poor condition and gets more eaten out, like I think in 10-15 years people will not be doing that when there's not snow in it. It just is going to be a sufferfest. Based on the number of tents up here, this looks like a pretty popular spot for base camp if you're going to do 2 days. Leaving the beautiful upper basin here. I believe I have about 5.5 miles to go. Absolutely beautiful. Whew. Almost down to that lake. Look at those views up there. You know, I gotta be honest, just having a really good time right now. Although it's obviously longer, this Mount Whitney Trail is gorgeous. compared to the pretty like dead rock field I worked up the Mountaineer side. Is any of this footage doing this justice? I don't know, I'm just gonna keep shooting it though. Unreal how cool it is here. Finally, you might be able to see the road down in there. It's your exit point. Still got another couple miles, I think. A lot of switchbacks here and quite a bit of elevation to lose still, but home stretch here for sure. Working my way back down to the car. I've completed the full loop here. Thought there was another trail, but it must be a really old GPX file because that trail is long gone. With elevation, we're at 6,400, and that's a lot less than I was expecting. Honestly, if you have the fitness level, this is absolutely worthy of a day trip, a trail run, a scramble, whatever you want to call it. It's just really cool. I'm very happy I did this in the day. Should be finishing around 3 o'clock, so all in, this will take me about 10 hours or so. You cannot have dogs on this route because there's like the last bit that is not dog friendly, and it would be absolutely insane to bring a dog up the mountaineering route. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I do virtual trail guides. I have some in California, based in Colorado, the high points. Search around the channel, I'm sure you can find something. If you want even more content, you can check out my website, which has a free trail guide of everything that I've done. Overall, Mount Whitney is absolutely worthy of a destination hike. It's a beautiful, beautiful place here. And what's surprising is, like, when you drive in, you're in this, like, you know, high alpine desert situation. Everything looks dead. You drive a couple miles up here, it's very beautiful. You hike a couple miles up, even more. The water just makes so much more life. To help support the channel through gear or donations to help me get to more places and do more trail guides, check that out on the website as well. As always, for a full free guide, also in the description, also on my website. Thank you very, very much for watching. Throw this video a like if you found it entertaining, helpful, you want to come do it yourself, whatever. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you guys on the next adventure.